Well, welcome to Oddly Specific, Volume 21. Today is June 10th.
Yes.
June 10th, 2018. Not a lot has gone on in the last... No, that's a lie.
Man, it's huge.
It's so much has gone on in the last 7 days. It's ridiculous. Namely, we have a new premier in the province of Ontario. His name is Douglas Ford.
Yes.
Dougie.
Doug Ford. Also, Anthony Bourdain committed suicide.
Yeah,
Kate
horrible.
Spade committed suicide. It's been an awful week for suicide.
Horrible
Was it
week.
suicide for Kate Spade?
Yep.
Definitely.
Oh,
yes.
God.
So
yeah.
we basically got a lot to talk about.
There's a ton to talk about. But what I did this weekend, just all the shit happened to me. Oh my God. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's do this.
All right, go.
So,
And we're back.
yes, we're back.
That was the break that we take for the audio portion of the podcast.
Yeah. So this is kind of like volume 21, part 3. So we did a couple of test ones.
Right.
It seems to be working this time.
Yes.
But you know, we are a podcast, so we mainly want to get something up on iTunes, and you know, so if you are typing stuff into the chat, we'll take a look at the end of the hour. And if you have any questions, definitely shoot us some via chat. But otherwise, yeah. So terrible week. Chris,
It was pretty bad. I mean, okay, first of all, the election was what, on Thursday night?
Yeah, I think so.
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday. I think.
Thursday.
Okay, so that was intense. So I went to go vote with my family, and man, there were crazy things going on at the voting station.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like people were fucking arguing.
Arguing.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Oh, it was a bunch of NDPers, though, right?
Well, I don't know, man. It's just and I also noticed there was a lot more people on the ballot than I thought there was going to be. There was a libertarian guy, marijuana party guy, But anyway, all this to say, Doug Ward won a majority government.
Doug Ford.
What did I just say?
Doug Ward.
Doug Ward?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I said Rob Ford. Anyway, Doug Ford won a majority government.
Dino Bravo.
He still looks like Dino Bravo.
There's a guy at my work, and he listened to the last couple, and he came up. He's like, "Man, Doug Ford doesn't look like Dino Bravo." I was like, "Yes, he does."
He totally does.
I was like, "Well, he conceded finally. Okay, his
that
hair
he looks like Dino Bravo.
His hair is very similar.
He looks like Dino Bravo to the max. And when he was a kid, he looked like Ric Flair.
Yeah, definitely.
He was like a teenager.
Definite wrestler / Biff Tannen vibe to
Totally.
Doug Ford.
Now he just looks like a tank. He looks like a tank of a man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's the overwhelming majority new premier.
Yeah.
And man, a lot of people were upset about this. I was watching I, Tonya on Thursday night, like on my box.
Yeah.
And I was checking Facebook.
We need to talk about that box afterwards, Chris.
No, shut up. I don't want to talk about the box.
Okay.
Anyway, it's an illegal box. Anyway, no, it's not. It's totally legal.
Gray area box.
Gray area box. But it also has 5,000 video games on it. Anyway, here's the thing. Why did you just reveal this on the internet? You son of an asshole.
Rogers is listening.
Yeah,
Fuck.
totally.
Yeah, they probably are. Fucking thanks a lot, Todd.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, no.
That's why I'm here. That's why
I was watching I, Tonya, and I was checking out Facebook, and the level of just anger that I saw on Facebook over Doug Ford becoming the premier was palpable. It was crazy. People were very upset about the result.
Yeah, but it's weird. Yeah. It's an outspoken minority, though, that are obviously yelling because the majority of people voted for the guy.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, but like some of the like I was just surprised to see that there's a lot of angry people politically. There's more angry people now than I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, I mean, it's the same. Like you know me, I don't like to talk politics.
Yeah, Todd does not talk politics.
So I'll probably sit a lot of this.
He'll talk about my equipment, but he won't talk about politics.
Yeah, he'll dime you out on live TV.
Yeah. Fucking rat.
But
just kidding.
But
rat.
Yeah, it's more indicative, just more indications of how polarized things are becoming, and I think that was the thing that was the most upsetting for me.
Yeah, but people equate the guy with Trump, and quite frankly, he's very different than Trump. He's far, and but he's not unlike other PC governments we've had in this province before. So
I think it's more people are equating him with starting to bring American politics, like that style.
Yeah, they don't like
that style. Yeah, you're right.
They don't like that.
I heard something great today. They were like, Doug Ford goes out and he says, I'm gonna cut taxes and people like the NDP are like, we're going to increase social programs and raise taxes. What the hell do you think people are going to vote for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Man, all I know is that aside from that, Trump showed up to the G7 late, left early, and then proceeded to destroy fucking Justin Trudeau on Twitter.
Yeah.
By calling him Justin.
Trudeau's weak. Trudeau's dishonest. Total insult. I'm out of here. Bye.
And then
I will never apologize. Never, never.
apologize.
As Alec Baldwin says when he's playing Donald Trump. I don't know, man. I don't know. He you know what? I read something in the Globe and Mail today about how Trump. He wasn't drunk. He doesn't drink. But how Trump made a big show of that so that because he's on his way to Singapore to meet with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
And he was like just toughening. He's just doing the tough guy image.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's that one shot of him with his arms crossed.
Yeah.
Did you see that someone photoshopped
Germany,
it?
France, England, everybody. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. No, wrong. Bye. He gets on his plane, gets off.
Yeah, it's
off.
Man, you got to give him credit, though, for going over to North Korea and meeting with Buddy. Not that they're in North Korea, but you got to give him
credit. The best part is
credit.
you called Kim Jong-un Buddy.
Man,
what's going on?
President Buddy.
you got to give him credit.
Well, let's see what happens. What do you think is going to happen with the summit, Todd?
I think Dennis Rodman's
going. He's gonna,
I know.
He's going to be at the hotel bar, apparently.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not joking.
No, man, Dennis Rodman is like their #1 liaison. Because
No, I know that, but I didn't know he was going.
He's going.
He's going to
So
just
is he
be
gonna-
there conveniently.
Is he going to be part of high-level talks?
I don't know about that. The guy can barely talk.
Maybe high-level
Man,
drinking.
if they show him at the summit, like up on the same on the podium, like at the same
my
level, then idiocracy is here, man. Just vote Camacho in
While
right
he's
now.
getting a tattoo.
Man, have you seen that Vice animated story where Dennis Rodman talks about how many times he broke his dick?
No, I don't really want to see that either.
Okay, first of all, have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, so he's broken his penis 3 times where he's been engaging in sex.
Okay.
And he just bends his dick.
So what happens? Like it snapped?
No,
or?
it snapped.
Yeah,
and
that's
it bled
like
out.
herniation, man. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very bad.
it happens.
Apparently, it happened to him 3 times, and he was just being prescribed these pills to just address the curvature.
So how do you repair that?
Well, I think you just got to let it heal, but apparently, like it's extraordinarily painful. It's called a contused penis.
This is horrible. It's like,
I know. Everybody,
I'm looking it up.
Dennis Rodman contused penis on YouTube right now.
I am.
And I can assure you that it's a real thing. It's like it's an animated
man.
story on Vice. It's quite funny.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, Dennis Rodman is going to be at the hotel bar, wherever it is in Singapore, waiting to get called on by either Kim Jong-un or Donald Trump. And by the way, Dennis Rodman was on The Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice. So him and Trump are like buddies.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
No.
you see what I'm talking about?
Penile fracture is a
Penile fracture.
rupture of one or both of the
It's breaking your dick.
some giant word, the fibrous coverings that envelope the penises, something or other. Oh,
It's breaking your dick. That's
it is
what
caused by rapid blunt force to an erect penis. God, stop talking.
Yeah, it's like hammering your dick in half.
Oh, it's caused by usually during vaginal intercourse or aggressive masturbation.
Okay. Can you imagine contusing your penis doing that? That's crazy.
Aggressive masturbation.
Gus,
Well,
this seems like it is illuminating to you.
I think we just pretty much guaranteed that this is never getting monetized ever.
That's not
Why?
true.
Because we said aggressive masturbation.
Or broken dicks in general, I think is.
Aren't we naughty? Any sex
We're providing
store,
a valuable public service.
Please feel free to sponsor the Oddly Specific podcast. Anyway.
Brokendicks.com. Don't go to that site. Whatever you do, don't go to that
This is
site.
Todd. We're never going to get monetized. By the way, go to brokendicks.com. Go to brokendicks.com. Okay, so anyway, that G7 thing blew up. Doug Ford was the premier. Man, Anthony Bourdain died.
Yeah, that's really
Kate
sad.
Spade died. I was surprised about that, but when Anthony Bourdain died, that was really shocking.
Yeah.
Let's just get the backstory on Anthony Bourdain's life. I mean, the guy, he's had it pretty hard.
Well, it depends on how you define hard.
Okay, well, wasn't he like an ex-heroin addict?
He was.
Okay.
So he came from
That's pretty fucking hard.
He came from a pretty privileged family. His father was a Columbia Records executive.
Yeah.
Imagine.
He came from a pretty upper crust family from New Jersey. He grew up in New Jersey. And they would go to France, like, I think every year.
Okay.
And anyway, he fell in love with food, became a chef. And I read Kitchen Confidential like 13 years ago. And the thing that struck me about Anthony Bourdain is that he like lived in obscurity. Like he got an executive chef position at Les Halles de Brasserie. Les Halles. And like that was the first executive chef position that he got.
Yeah.
And he got that in like 1992 or 1993, and then did that for a while. Wrote Kitchen Confidential in the late 90s, and then that was the thing that kind of elevated his career. Like David Fincher optioned Kitchen Confidential. Did you know that?
No.
David Fincher did
So
the Social Network.
Who was he going to cast?
He was going to cast Brad Pitt in
Really?
the movie. Yeah, but then they, I guess, sold the option or delegated the option to Fox, and Fox made it a very, very short-lived television series that I think they shot.
Yeah,
7
Fox
episodes.
fucked it up.
Yeah, but Bradley Cooper played Tony Bourdain.
Oh yeah, isn't that on Netflix? Isn't it called like?
No, it's called. You're thinking of the movie Burnt, which is another
Burnt,
instance
yeah.
where Bradley Cooper
yeah.
is a chef. But
Yeah.
this was a show called The Kitchen Confidential where Bradley Cooper played Tony Bourdain, and then that didn't really take off. He wrote a series of other books, and then he just kind of his career was elevated by, these really solid travel food shows that were featured on the Food Network and then CNN, and he was kind of the Ernest Hemingway of the culinary world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of respect. He wasn't a particularly great chef. He even
he's a
admitted
great
that.
writer though.
But he was a fantastic storyteller and a
Yeah.
fantastic writer. But you know what? The guy was fucked up. I think he even admitted it. He admitted to being suicidal in one of his books after the end of his first marriage. And
Really?
there was a period where he was kind of living like Hunter S. Thompson, man. He was like just drinking and drugging for a while.
So there was talk about like maybe there was a relapse or maybe
I'm not sure what happened.
I heard that he had started drinking again pretty heavily.
I don't think he ever stopped.
Don't think he ever stopped. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
no. If your job is traveling around and
Yeah.
I think what he was married to a woman named Otávia Bucia, who was a Brazilian kind of like a mixed martial artist. They had a daughter. He had a daughter late in life in his 50s.
yeah.
And then they split up. They were married for like 6 or 7 years, and then he was dating Asia Argento, who is well known as Dario Argento's daughter.
Yep.
And she's the face of the Me Too movement right now, and or a big face of the one of the primary faces of the movement. She gave a very sobering statement at Cannes this year. So, and she's also very well known because she was raped by Harvey Weinstein. So, anyway, by all accounts, Tony Bourdain had a pretty amazing life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously, he had some demons. And
Well, this is what I was talking about this at work the other day, and that's kind of like, it seems weird to me that these dream lives that you hear about, right?
oh yeah,
And it sounds like a dream life basically, and you still have people with mental illness living these. We don't know if. Sorry, I apologize. I don't know if it was mental illness, but these people that seem to have it all that are committing suicide.
that are still unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, man? It's like anything. Take a look at the last year, like Chris Cornell and all these people.
Chester Bennington.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even we can go back to like kind of our generation. Like STP front man, right? So it's having all of this money. Definitely doesn't give you a free pass for mental health.
Yeah.
But it also, I think, gives you like you get a lot of up and downs, man.
Yeah.
Like think about the life that these people are living.
Yeah.
And then when it's kind of over, or you're in a downtime or something, you go back to your giant house and sit by yourself, and you're confronted with all these things. That's heavy, man.
Yeah, it's definitely heavy.
I don't know, man. This is one of those things where I think the suicide stuff is a lot more prominent than anybody realizes.
Yeah.
I think it's actually getting worse. I was reading something today where it's suggesting that
It's all fucking Instagram's fault, man.
I honestly think that social media is probably not helping it.
Well, great. Just tune into Oddly Specific Facebook.
Tune into our
Check it out.
Yeah.
No.
Press like.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. The anyway, so yeah, it was a bit of a shitty week. With
a lot.
there was a lot of crazy shit that was happening.
So what happened with you on the weekend, Chris?
I had no kids this weekend. My wife and we had an adventure in Ottawa. It was amazing. I have to tell everybody about this. First of all, I got a pedicure. I've never had one of these.
Oh no!
I was treated to a pedicure this week, and my feet feel fantastic. Does this ever happen to you guys? My feet were so dry and cracked that if I was walking, for instance, on a Berber carpet, it was like Velcro.
It would hook. It would hook.
It would hook and like there'd be no way that I could rob someone's house with feet like mine.
Do you wear socks?
Man, I wear socks, but when I don't wear socks, I have feet like
that's
a
horrible.
Horse. Like
You just have a
cloven hooves.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
man.
really, really bad. It was like when you can scratch your calf with the crackedness on the back of your heel. It's like, oh, that's good. It's like having a back scratcher.
Todd, how are your feet?
They're pretty bad.
Yeah?
It's only at the heel though. There's
Yeah.
there's some clips and rips going on there.
My grandmother, God love her, had the most horrific feet
Oh, that's
I have
awful.
ever seen.
Why?
And she would admit it if she was here.
She
right
had
now.
bunions?
No, not bunions. Just
Shaquille O'Neal
like-
potato toes or
fucked up, like heel made of. It actually
Bark heels.
Bark. Yeah, it was actually bark. Yeah.
Well, I went to Zoe's with my wife, and man, these wonderful Vietnamese ladies treated me for about 45 minutes. I was in a massage chair. I softened my feet in this sitz bath. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's actually acid.
I don't know. Is it?
A little bit, yeah.
Is it really? No. Maybe, because I don't know how they got the cloven
For
bark
your-
off my fucking. And then they take the scraper, and then they have this like razor, and then they push back your cuticles and like the whole thing. Anyway, my feet look.
I'm going to show you a
pro.
fucked up video right now.
No, I don't want to see any.
No,
fucked up.
it has to do with feet. But go ahead. Let me line it up.
It's funny you're mentioning a fucked up video because there's a channel, not to change the subject, where you can watch people pop zits and goiters.
What?
oh
Yeah, and it's pretty gross for the first 5 minutes, and then it's like fascinating a little bit.
yeah.
It's a little like,
No.
yeah, that's like, oh, that's so nasty.
Okay, so
guy-
describe what you're
The guy is cutting bark off of his heels.
Yeah, literally with a very, very
Dead skin
sharp
bark.
knife.
yeah.
Cutting. Like, I mean, that's like. Okay, first of all, I believe this man lives in the Amazon rainforest
That's
and has
awful.
never worn shoes in his life because that is a callus, man. Look at that.
Well, why would you want to get rid of it then? That's like having superhuman feet. You know what I mean? You can
Well,
walk around in anything.
I think he needs to make room for more callus.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like if you break a bone, it comes back stronger. If you cut the callus off, it
That's
comes back.
gross.
Pretty soon he's gonna be like the Thing, man.
Well,
he's just
That's
gonna have
nasty.
this. He's just gonna have this nasty.
Nasty.
You ever seen that disease that well, it's not a disease, but it's like your body's inability to cope with like it's a mutation of HPV or whatever, but your skin turns to bark. You ever seen that? You ever
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes,
They call
I
him
have.
the tree
You
man.
turn into Groot.
Yeah. Is that what happened to your foot?
Well, not really, but like sorta, I guess. Anyway, I was very self-conscious about this when I went, but the lady was like, "Oh, your feet are fine. They're not that bad. I've dealt with some really screwed up stuff." I was like, "Really?" I didn't push her on
Enlighten-
this, but I was just like,
enlighten us.
yeah, I was like, I don't know her well enough to like probe her on this, but
Yeah.
excuse me. So anyway, did that, and then we went to on Friday night we went to Gezellig.
Can I just hard stop you there?
Yeah. Okay.
The only reason I wanna ask you something.
What?
The most disgusting thing I think I've ever seen
What?
was on an episode of not Jackass, but Bam Margera's show.
Oh,
And
Don Vito's toe. Do you remember
yes,
that?
I remember. It's so gross.
That was the roughest thing I've ever seen. Anyway,
Really nasty.
whatever you do, don't Google Don Vito's toe.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. I remember that. What happened to his toe again?
The nail, the big nail,
Like,
started
yeah, it started
coming off.
coming up.
And when they peeled it up, there was like strands.
Yeah.
Strands.
Oh,
there was like
so gross.
strands of like milk that like
Okay, that's
so it
gross.
was all infected, like it was
Yeah.
still attached.
yeah, it was horrible.
He died in real life.
Yeah, and he was a horrible person.
Yeah,
I think.
apparently it was like a child molester.
Yeah.
What?
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway.
I also went to Gezellig on Friday night. nice cue into that, which was a good restaurant in Hindenburg. That was good.
A Stephen Beckta joint.
Stephen Beckta joint. And then for 2 days, for 2 mornings in a row, we went to this place called Raw, on Preston Street. Have you been there?
Yeah, no, not yet.
So we're kind of obsessed with acai bowls. Do you know what an acai bowl is?
We talked about this in volume 21, version 1.
Yeah, version 1.
The other ghost versions.
And how Todd and I didn't know what it was actually because we're not as affluent.
It's a superfood. It's a superfood. Did you know that?
Yes.
It's a legitimate superfood.
Okay.
And it's like this frozen berry. What?
No,
Fuck you.
no,
Gus.
I was trying to
Fuck you.
fix my headphones.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
me
yourself. Anyway, it's a superfood, and I had it for 2 mornings in a row. It was very good. Played tennis with my wife. It was a pretty nice weekend. No kids.
Tennis.
Drank some wine. We had a Côte de Boeuf dinner.
Oh,
And
did you have any?
I'm realizing how highbrow it.
Did you have any charcuterie?
Actually, we did. Yeah, it was kind of nice. We sat on our deck.
Todd, how much of what he has just said has just gone like right over? Like,
No, I get it.
Todd's like, go fuck yourself.
I was like,
fuck you up.
Did someone bring you towels, warm towels for all those activities?
I could totally picture you playing tennis, man, with your little white shoes. And,
yep, that's me.
You know, your towel, maybe a headband.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. Anyway, I enjoyed it. And
where did you play tennis, by the way?
We went to a private tennis club, and it was $500 per person. But we got it was good. It was worth it.
Did you play polo in the afternoon?
No, we didn't play polo, but they give you water with cucumber and orange slices in it, which was nice. And then they gave us lunch, and then you get a free. Don't make fun of me. I'll just tell you what it is. If you really want to know about it, maybe someday I'll take you. We got a nice selection.
He's going to make me pay, by the way.
We got a nice selection of fruits, and then you get a massage, and then there's a complimentary game of polo that you get to play. So,
man, this is a nice spot.
Yeah. I made that all up. Gus, did you believe me?
I was with you until polo.
Yeah.
No, we just went to fucking
Mooney's
Bay, man.
You also lost me at the invite because I was like, this is going to turn into one of those moments where it's like, guys, I forgot my wallet.
Yeah,
we just went to the park to play, man. It was very benign.
So a public park, and it was free.
Mooney's Bay.
And you had to flick the cigarette butts off the plane surface before you started, right?
No, there was other people there.
That's only where I
nice
play.
families. Mooney's Bay is actually pretty cleaned up now.
Yeah, they've got a lot more sort of activity.
Actually, it's a nice court there. Yeah.
Todd, didn't you get mowed down by a pickup truck in Mooney's Bay once?
Yeah, it was
lashed with a pistol.
No, that was someone else. But
you got lashed with a pistol?
No, it was a chain.
No. Someone came to my aid with a chain.
Oh, wow.
But anyway.
Were you in like a gang?
No, I was not in a gang.
That's nothing compared to you. You stole a plane.
I did.
You stole a plane.
I did. It was a Cessna. It was a small plane.
A delinquent.
But it was fine.
Yes.
Gus the delinquent.
So Mooney's Bay, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because upstairs right now, I know you're going to make fun of me.
Sure.
I wanted to talk to you guys about this.
I'm going to make fun of you.
You really are.
Todd, no, you are opening. I know what you're going to talk about. You are opening yourself
upstairs
to
right
the full
now.
fury of Chris.
Upstairs right now, leaning against the door, this back door right here, is a metal detector.
Yes.
I already knew that.
What do you have to say about that, Chris?
Well, I mean, nothing. I mean, I'm not sure what you're doing with it, but
he's detecting metal.
I'm going to become a detectorist. That's what they call themselves.
Is that something you can go to school to become?
No. You just go to Canadian Tire or order online.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When you're using that thing, do you revert back to being a total virgin?
I don't know.
Does your urethra close up and you pee when you whistle? Or whistle when you pee, I mean.
Maybe. I don't know.
What do you like? You realize a metal detector is like a female, like women. People will run away from you. Not just women. Like anybody will run away from you with that.
Like a social repellent.
That's exactly like a female social human repellent.
Well, I'm married, so that doesn't really matter to me. It gets me outside.
Todd, I'll be there with you, man. I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
You guys are just.
You know, Chris, like that's your thing, man. You play tennis and get pedicures. Todd and I are detect metal.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing I do. I like to LARP too.
Oh.
Okay, for real. All right.
No, I don't.
I feel like LARPists and metal detectorists.
Same realm.
Same people. Man.
Okay.
Same people.
So in Ottawa, Chris and I have on multiple occasions. We'll get back to the metal detecting.
Are we talking about the LARPers?
Yes.
They were at Mooney's Bay,
Yes.
man.
So
They're at Hogsback.
Hogsback too, yeah.
In Ottawa at a park at Hogsback.
Yes.
Hogsback.
I believe it's called the Duchy of Felfrost. I looked this up at work because I'm fascinated. I am fascinated with LARPers, man.
For real.
LARP it.
For real. I don't think I would do it. I think it involves a lot of time and a lot of effort. Like they put together some serious shit, man. They make swords, they make chainmail, they fashion weapons and have like full on Braveheart battles.
So it's actually a society in Ottawa. It's called Amtgard LARP. It's a live action role playing game centered around medieval fighting and magic. Felfrost, the Duchy of Felfrost. Felfrost is the duchy. I'm assuming that's a group.
So is that a group?
Like the group of players which meet at least once a week, Sunday at 1 p.m. at Hogsback Park in Ottawa, Ontario.
So my question to you guys is, there's a couple of video productions that I want to do. Okay. Number one, I want to get Chris's cooking show online.
Yeah, Chris cooking for sure.
We've already discussed this, Chris. We're doing it at Gus's house.
How about Chris participating in that?
Yes.
I know exactly what I would go as.
What would you go as?
I would go as a hybrid of a samurai and probably an assassin, like a modern day assassin. And I wonder if they would accept me because it seems like it's only medieval shit. So.
It's medieval, yeah. It definitely is. It's got
if that's the case, I'd probably go as a wizard or a mage.
Look at this guy.
This guy's like the bad guy in fucking The Equalizer.
But
you would have to grow. You'd have to grow a big beard. I can see it.
Look at how committed.
That looks like the leader of the Lycans in the first Underworld movie.
Yeah, Michael Sheen.
It's kind of disturbing.
This guy, the guild master of Reeves, like they take this seriously. I don't want to make fun of these people. Like, this is their thing, man. They're passionate about it. I think that's cool.
This is what I mean. It's like you.
And if they weren't out there doing that, they'd probably be killing us. So hey, man,
what?
Do what you want to do,
Gus. Man,
it's all good.
Gus, that's the craziest.
Okay, so I guess
heard.
we won't try to interview them about their life.
No. Wait a minute. No.
Totally
we should
joking.
invite them on. I'm actually.
I really want to have them on. And just talk to them about.
Okay, listen. I think I'm gonna send them a note because I think this is cool.
Okay, right.
And I'm gonna try to get the Felfrost, the Duchy of Felfrost, on this group. I'm gonna get them on Oddly Specific.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, I'm gonna do what I can to get these people on. It should be pretty interesting.
Because
we agreed on this.
I'm actually curious as to there was this one time I was with my daughter in Chapters, and this was in London, Ontario.
Right.
And I guess the LARPers of London, Ontario had set up sort of a medieval battle in Chapters.
In Chapters.
In Chapters. So they'd taken over the whole children's area.
Oh my god.
And set up a barrier so people didn't get hit in the head with the swords. And they're wooden weapons, you know?
Oh my god.
And and then they showed the style of fighting that happened in medieval times.
Whoa.
You know? So
okay, educational value, I get it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Still violent as fuck, but
basically I've taken part in so many hobbies now that are, what people would traditionally say like, oh my God, what is he doing? What have I done now? Drone piloting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gus.
Which I ended very quickly.
Yes.
Hey, Gus, why don't you explain how you ended the drone? You flew it into the Ottawa River.
Yeah.
So Todd,
how did you even break that news to Todd?
He was terrified.
I was fucking scared.
Fuck, I'd be terrified.
Yeah. So you really want to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Todd bought a drone and we learned the skill of drone piloting. I went on a huge trip all across northern part of North America. And Todd was kind enough to lend me this drone for the whole trip.
In Gus's defense, I said, "Look, you're going across the country. You do a lot of photography, you do a lot of videography. Whenever you want to use this thing, use it. You know."
Right. And we had a discussion back and forth. I said, "Todd, man, I can't do that."
Yeah.
Okay. And it came up. What if I crash it?
Yeah.
What if I sit on it, or what if something happens?
To which I responded, "We were out, I think by Champlain Lookout, was it? No, we were out by Luskville.
Oh, yeah.
And we were flying this thing, and we temporarily lost control of it. It just started flying away, and I had no clue how to get it back. So what I did is I shut off the receiver, like the remote control part, and it was programmed to fly back from where it came if it lost a signal and land. So Gus and I were together on that occasion, and we were fortunate enough to get it back. It didn't just keep flying into oblivion.
No, it just shot up to like 300 feet and then came down at 10 feet in a minute.
And landed. So anyway, I had been through this with Gus. We knew the risks. I just said, like, if it happens, it happens. So, and it happened.
So... I had taken it, man. I did some great videos in Kelowna.
Amazing.
I did some amazing videos in the
Grasslands
National Park.
Were you able to salvage any of these videos?
Oh, yeah. I have them all. So,
where's the drone?
I'll get to that, Chris. So this one day I was with my girlfriend's dad, and I was like, hey, let's go down to the Deschênes Rapids and...
drone away.
Let me show you this cool drone I got. He looked at it and he was like, "Oh man, he's like this one of these helicopters?" Yeah. Great. So I go down and giving him a show. I'm flying them over the day, and this is the Deschênes Rapids in springtime. Okay, so if anyone around Ottawa knows, it's like class 5, 6 rapids. You don't go in there, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
And right at the end of the rapids, there's this huge, I guess it used to be a mill or a bridge or something. And so if you happen to enter the rapids, you will be immediately smashed against
multiple rocks,
these old ruins that are at the end. And then it kind of tapers off and gets real shallow. So the water is about 10 feet higher than it is probably, in the middle of the summer, right?
Yes.
So... I thought it would be great to get some footage down there, these giant rapids, and it was awesome. So I'm flying this thing for a good, 5 minutes or so, cruising around, hitting birds, doing all kinds of shit.
Hitting birds.
Wow.
Hitting falcons and eagles.
I brought it back in, and her dad asked me, he's like, oh, when it's hovering like that, does it just hover? And I was like, yeah. And so it was on the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll just show you how it hovers. And I sent it back up. And man, it went, I put it over the water and I was like, yeah, watch this. I'll just bring it back. And it fucking didn't come back. And so I'm trying everything. It's hovering at like 5 feet, man. And it's literally from here to the end of the table.
Yeah.
But between there is like psychotic rapids.
Yeah.
I would die.
Psychotic rapids?
Fucking psychotic rapids.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it and I'm like, man, I lost connectivity. And her dad said that he looked at me and I was just like this. Like staring into the Deschênes Rapids. And I remember at one point he stood in front of me and he was like, don't go and get it, man. And we literally sat there about 5 feet away and watched it slowly over the course of a minute.
That's painful.
Drop into the water.
Yeah.
Like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in T2 just slowly descend into the water.
That's what it was like.
Did it go down with like the fucking thumbs up?
No, man, it went.
It just did it kiss the water and then just hesitate for a second and be like, why didn't you save me? And then it just get fucking. Is that what happened?
And you know what's funny about the T2 reference is like all I could see was the under the water was the flashing light of the GoPro.
Oh god.
Oh my god, that's awful. I didn't know it was. I thought it just ditched into the water.
It did, but it was like
slow ditch.
It was super slow, and it just went.
That totally is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That is the worst way to lose a drone.
The rotors were still going as the water was hitting the bottom of the the little stand.
Yeah.
And so it was pulling it along, and then eventually it just went. And I could see the fucking light. And I knew that the channel that it went down in was like a straight channel there. And so
this thing's out in the fucking ocean now.
No, it's probably still in the
and
Deschênes Rapids.
you know what's funny, man? I took it. I was crushed. Really.
Like you were emotional?
Oh yeah.
Man, he was like when he called.
I was flipping out. I was almost in tears. Okay, so I was running up and down the canal, trying to find out where it was. And there was a couple kayakers there. I was like, "Yo, guys, look for the drone!" And they were like, "Yeah, we saw it go down, but I can't find it." Fuck! I even went back in the summer, man, when there was no water, and I was like, "I'm gonna dig this thing out of the mud. It's gonna be fine." And nothing.
Someone probably already grabbed it, man. So if you're out there and you have my drone, I hate you.
man, that's a really terrible story.
So,
I feel bad now because I've been busting your balls about this.
I think I'm just gonna have to like stop talking.
The reason I brought it up after the metal detecting is I figured I'd take the metal detector out there and see if I can find it.
Yeah,
This is awful.
So that was probably the worst thing that happened. So that happened to me, and then I had to call Todd and tell him that it was all fucked up, and I lost the drone.
Yeah, I don't know how you put it to me. You were just like,
How did that go?
He was like, man, I don't know how to. You said I don't know how to say this, and I was like, I thought someone had died or something, and you were like, the drone's gone.
Yeah.
That's like delivering bad news to the max.
Yeah,
It totally is. It was like, man, I thought you were gonna flip out.
Gus,
Man,
let me ask you a question. What would you do if you went home tonight and you feel kind of bad about what you just said, and you just see the drone hovering outside of your house? Like as you pull up
Like-
in the darkness of Elmer.
like a ghostly drone.
No, like the drone. And then it's just hovering.
And it's
the red
covered in
light.
mud.
Yeah. And then you're like, what the fuck? And then it just goes away.
Oh man.
And then like it just shows up like randomly, the ghost of this drone. Or is it? Maybe it's the drone itself.
It just
fucks with
follows
you.
me around wherever I go.
Ghost drone.
Man.
This reminds me of a little bit of a story. I go to Austin, Texas generally every year and
Play polo.
play polo.
Yeah, exactly.
A few years back, I went with my friend Trevor. He was in our group, and Trevor plays in the band I play with. I've known him for a very long time, good friend of mine. And he had this pair of Converse. No, sorry, they weren't Converse. He won a pair of Converse
Oh, cool.
at this party. It was called the Canadian Blast Party, and he had this old pair of kind of like dressy casual shoes, like Steve Madden shoes.
Yeah.
So they were kind of busted up. So he got these Converse. He put the Converse on, and he was like, "Well, I guess I'll just ditch these shoes." And for a long time, we joked about how the shoes had like they were brothers, and they felt bad because their dad had abandoned them in Texas. So like these inanimate objects. So the shoes went on to have like very like fruitful careers in Austin. Like one got elected to city council, the other one went on to start and establish a business in the city.
Oh my god.
And then the next year when we came back, they'd be waiting at the airport.
Yeah.
Like,
Daddy.
Yeah. No,
Daddy
to like tell
why?
Trevor off. Like, remember us, motherfucker? We're here to tell you we made it without you.
Remember Chris Rock?
Yeah.
I'm alive, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Chris Rock. When was that from?
He was talking about like, you know, if you ever happen to bring up like the abortion thing with your girlfriend or whatever, you can't bring it up. And he was talking about like, you know, when he thought that his girlfriend went ahead with the abortion, and then they broke up, and then it ended up she had the kid or whatever, so she meets back up.
Hey, how you doing, little man?
Meets back up with his son. His son's like 5 years old, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, little man?" And the kid looks up at him and goes, "I'm alive, motherfucker."
Oh man. So Chris, do you have a personal story this week?
Yes, I do have a personal story this week.
These are very popular, by the way. There's quite a few people that have expressed to me, are
Really?
these true? And I tell them that yes, they
They're
are.
totally true.
They're very true. 100% true.
Unfortunately, they're
They
true.
are true.
Second question I have is, does it involve fecal matter? Because every single one you've told so far
No.
involves... Okay,
No, it
that's
doesn't
good.
involve fecal matter, but I am going to tell a story about when I worked at the airport again.
Again.
One of the fucking
Man, that was a
craziest
pivotal
jobs.
time in your life.
It was a
Story
very
gold.
short 6.5 months of like
Torture.
subpar pay and just insanity. But it was, you know, like any adversity, there's something to come from it, right? So when I started working there, I made the huge mistake, along with our good friend Derek, who was also working there with us, to tell everybody that I could that I wasn't going to be there very long because I played in a band and I was going to make it.
Okay.
And then let me
You
give you
can
some
see
advice.
how far we made it
the-
right now.
Yeah, but the worst advice is don't go into a blue collar environment where there's been a lot of people working there for like decades. Unionized guys, rough and tumble, you know, blue collar guys.
And tell them you're going to find a way
And
out.
don't be the dreamer who comes in fucking 19, 20 years old. I'm in a band, man. I'm not going to be here for very long. I'll be signing your fucking on. I'll be on these fucking planes.
I'll be getting,
Yeah.
I'll be getting manicures 20 years
exactly.
from
That
You'll be
didn't-
loading my baggage, bitch.
That did not endear us to anybody. So
now. Okay.
anyway, there was this guy, Jeff. I don't remember his last name, but he was like, he kind of looked like, do you know who Tom Noonan, the actor, is?
No.
Tom Noonan was the Sandman in Manhunter. He was also the bad guy in Last Action Hero.
Okay.
He's like a tall.
Oh wait, yes.
He was Kane in RoboCop 2.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
Tom
okay.
Noonan.
I know exactly who this does.
So this guy Jeff looked exactly like Tom Noonan. He was like 6'8", and he was perpetually stoned, and he was a lead on these flights. So he was the guy who was like driving the tug. He was like pushing back, he was pushing planes back, stoned, and he was like the most silent guy, right? Like you have to almost check him for a pulse.
Okay.
Wait, you said he was pushing planes back while he was stoned?
Oh, this guy was smoking so much weed on airside, like he was just constantly stoned.
It's
He
good
was
to
always
know.
smoking a joint, having a coffee. I get there at like 3:30 in the morning. He's like on airside having like a cigarette, a joint at the same time in the same hand.
At the airport?
Yeah, and then drinking a gigantic second cup coffee. I'll never forget that.
So
What?
How is he doing this? Like, how?
I have no idea, but this guy had like kind of like a Bryan Adams kind of face, you know,
Okay,
like
yeah.
Edward James almost Bryan Adams face kind of thing. And he also was like 6'8", perpetually stoned. He had beady little eyes. He was like he looked like a murderer, like a serial killer. / pedophile.
Was
like,
there any like scrutiny with regards to security and the people who work there?
No, it was really bizarre. And I hated
So good to know.
I had not worked I knew about this guy because he never talked to you and he hated anybody new. And he was mean. He was like not a nice man.
Okay.
So we were working. I was paired up with him one day. I was on his crew, and he was the lead.
And you sprayed him
And
with
he
shit.
would just ignore you. If you asked a question like, "Hey, good morning," he just wouldn't say anything to you. He was like, "Hey, what am I doing today? I'm doing the batons on the wing." He would completely disregard you, like you
Wow.
weren't even there. It was really eerie. So you kind of just had to figure out what to do, right? But he would yell at you like very aggressively, very viciously if you didn't do what he wanted you to do, even though he wouldn't tell you what to do. So like the guy fucking hated you.
That makes a lot of sense.
He was fucked up.
Wow.
And he was actually fucked up. He was stoned and high on fucking nicotine and cigarettes. It was like crazy.
Wow.
And he would like drive these tugs with the door open. He'd fucking his fly would be down. He'd like, smoking while he's driving with one hand on these tugs, pushing back a 727 with one hand smoking. I don't know how he got away with all this shit. Anyway, we were working this airline called Bearskin Airlines, which were these little toothpick tubes.
Yeah, like 12 passengers.
12 passengers. They used to come in from up north.
Fuck.
And they were propeller planes. And this guy Jeff, there was a rule where you had to wait for the propellers to stop before you approached the plane. This guy Jeff had been there for a long time. I don't know what he was fucking thinking, but he wouldn't say anything to anybody. He just walked up to this Bearskin Airlines plane before it had stopped idling.
This is going bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it went really bad.
Okay.
And all I remember was just seeing the plane push in. It stopped. The rotor blades were going at like half the speed. They started to slow down a bit.
Okay.
And he was prematurely walking up to this fucking plane. And all I remember is just seeing like this flash of like, think of like a blanket being whipped by something really quick.
No.
And it was his. Anyway, nothing happened other than the whole top of his pinky got cut off
Oh no.
and thrown like 8 gates over.
So
Are
it was
you
like
serious?
was it like arterial spray going on? Like is that
No,
like
there was not. There was nothing. There was no spray.
It was probably such a clean
It was.
break.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was just like this sudden thing,
Oh.
and he didn't flinch. And someone was like, "Jeff!" Like someone yelled at him, and he was like, he looked behind him, and then he looked down at his hand, and it was just like this, and it was just like this. He was looking at it like this, like.
Oh.
And we were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Was
it was
it
like
like- was
Data from Star Trek got his finger cut off. He didn't even react.
was it like the dude from UHF? Remember when the dude the
yeah.
carpenter from UHF? Like I've cut my
Yeah.
finger off.
It was just like, it was bloody, but it wasn't that blood. I thought it would be like spurting blood. He didn't even flinch. This guy turned around like the Terminator, and just was like, and just went back into the hub. Like went to, I don't know what.
What?
Yeah, he
so
just fucking disappeared.
so was he a synthetic human?
I don't
what
know,
wanna
but I saw that and I was like, I went to my boss Dennis and I was like, "Hey, listen, Dennis, it's been a bit of an adventurous day. I never want to work with Jeff again, ever."
That's
And I said that to him. I was like, "This guy creeps me out. His finger got cut off." He's like, "Oh, really?" And he didn't even know. I was like, "Yeah, Dennis, he got his fucking finger." He's like, "Oh, I wonder where Jeff is right now. I'll probably have to file something with the union over that." I'm like, "I don't fucking know." Jesus Christ, his fucking finger got cut off. This guy didn't even flinch. He turned around like the fucking T-1000, went back into the hub, probably had a joint.
it grows
Yeah, he's
back.
smoking a joint.
I think he didn't have a reaction because he was so fucked up.
So did somebody have to go down and pick up the?
No, this guy JP who was working the flight had to radio this other guy Wayne, another lead, and he was like, "Jeff got hurt," and Wayne was like, "I'll be there in a second." And then the propellers had stopped at this point. They just unlatched the door and it plops down, and then like 12 people get out of it.
Yeah, but did somebody go down and get the finger?
I have no idea. All I know is that I never saw this guy again.
Ever. Man, okay, hold on. This is the second time you've told the story.
I know, but Jeff legitimately
People just
disappeared.
Don't come back from
well,
this
that other guy, Jack, real name Kevin, he actually disappeared for 3 weeks. And he came back.
He came back.
But Jeff.
Yeah, but came back with his fucking mind erased.
Chris,
sure.
I know, he came back with... No, Jeff, I think, already had his mind erased. Fuck. Man, I'm pretty sure I was going to see Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones with like one of those fucking dildos with the red thing on the end.
Yeah.
Flashing his... No, it was fucked up. I think he was fucked up. The most appalling part of this was my boss, Dennis, who was this random guy who would drive around in a van on Airside. Mm-hmm. And he had like a little like Hudson General tux on. And he'd be like, "Hey, how you boys doing?" He'd always have donuts or something like to give to people. Well, he was like legitimately surprised. He was like genuinely like, "Oh, Jeff cut his finger off. Eh? Oh, I haven't heard about that one."
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Donut?
Yeah, I was like, "Dennis, what the fuck? Who is this guy?" He's like, "Oh, Jeff's been here a long time. I'm sure he's all right." Never saw Jeff again. This was like a month into it. I never saw him for another 5 months. I didn't see this guy.
Man, maybe he like bled out. His skeleton is still there.
He was kind of the kind of guy that I'm pretty sure he probably got into his Dodge Durango and like just drove into the forest. I'm pretty sure that's what he did. It was the most shocking thing I have ever, like one of the most shocking things I have ever seen.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I was more appalled that the blood was minimal. Like
what was more shocking? Seeing a man completely immersed with the fecal matter of 700 passengers, or this guy getting his finger cut off?
No, definitely the fecal matter.
The labs,
right? The labs was definitely crazy.
So, like
700 passengers. That was like
log
80
of
passengers.
Shit. Yeah. Log of shit.
It was a log of shit patch. It was like a Nick Fury shit patch. And
Gus loves that one.
It all froze. He looked like the fucking Swamp Thing, covered in maxi pads, tampons, toilet paper, turds, corn, like just awful.
Okay.
Just awful.
Okay.
I just want to give a synopsis of how you're describing the airside activities at the airport.
It was crazy, man. It was the craziest job I ever had.
Keep in mind, like, has this improved? Has scrutiny?
I have no idea. All I know is that I went to LA in March with my wife, and I saw this guy that still works there. It was kind of
smoking a joint?
No, there was
no.
This
He's
other
talking
guy.
about Kevin.
No. It was this other guy. I have seen Kevin.
I know. Yeah.
But when we went to LA in March, I saw this guy that I had started working with there.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, like the people that were coming in there were, I don't want to seem like an elitist after having received a pedicure.
After playing polo.
Yeah, after
Go get
having
another
acai bowls all
fucking
weekend.
cucumber water.
But no, like some of the people we trained with there, like there was another guy too, this other guy, Kevin, who was very forthcoming. Another Kevin who was very, very forthcoming about all of the DUIs that he got all the time.
Oh, really?
And he's like, I didn't tell anybody about my DUIs. I think there's going to be a problem. And I was like, yes, motherfucker, I think it's going to be a problem. We have to drive vehicles on airside.
Yeah.
You need a license, you dipshit. And sure enough, he didn't get hired because they ultimately...
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the original training group.
The original training group. But in the original training group, there was one or two guys that I saw working the wing of an Air Canada flight when I went to LA, and I was
so more than likely
surreal,
More than likely, no pun intended, this shit is still going on.
Well, yeah. Could this explain how like bags just go missing and nobody has their fucking luggage?
I saw a lot of crazy shit, man, on airside. Yeah.
Would you abuse luggage?
Of course I would. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, like we did.
So if you saw something marked like fucking fragile, don't touch
No, we wouldn't do that.
It's glass.
But there were instances where like people would, I swear to God, like pack dumbbells in their bags.
I brought home
and
bricks.
then we had to carry this shit, right? So it's like, really?
Nothing but bricks.
Yeah. So if the bag was too heavy, we'd be like, fuck this, and we would kick the bag.
Okay.
We'd be like, fuck it. We just handle it like
with
shit,
your steel-toed boots.
Man, it was brutal. It was like that job was awful. It was brutal.
Wow.
Does this make you pack differently now, knowing what happens?
Not really. I just, and I remember working some of the flights. I'd go into the hole, which is like the belly of the plane where the baggage is, and you'd see messages from other people at other airports in there.
Really?
Oh yeah, like especially like Lambert Airport in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
What's up, St. Louis?
Yes, what's up, St. Louis? There would be messages on U.S. Airways flights where people would be like, "Fuck y'all" in the YYZ. Yeah, they'd use the airport code and be like, "Everybody working Yao is a fuckhead," like stuff like that. "Fuck you" in Calgary, you know, like "fuck you" in Chicago at O'Hare. It was like there was this weird, like, you know, you go to a shitty bar and people are like, "For a good time, call it." It was like that, but in the belly of the plane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really weird.
That's kind of
weird.
There's
man.
sort of like a whole subculture then, I guess, of like.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that we could maybe do a podcast like on Airside and you could kind of go back to your old days?
I sincerely doubt it.
Wow.
You still got your red pass?
I don't think I'd want to go on Airside. No thanks.
Wow.
Anyway, that's my Chris's personal story for the week.
So to continue on with the theme of ridiculous pastimes that I've had.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys know, like, currently my life involves going back and forth between the hospital and here, and I've been having some problems sleeping. So do you know what I've been focusing on?
What?
Again, Chris, you're going to laugh
showers?
at me. Cold showers.
I've been trying this week, by the way.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
It's actually pretty good. Thanks for the tip.
Yes. So cold showers.
Yep.
Also, mentalism.
The Mentalist?
Mentalism.
What's mentalism?
So mentalism, if you look it up, it started. I saw this video. You know how both you and I and Gus too probably end up down these YouTube holes, right? So somehow I ended up on a video of this guy named Lior Suchard. And
you want me to define it for you?
Sure.
Mentalism. It's a noun, by the way.
Yes.
The theory that physical and psychological phenomena are ultimately explicable only in terms of a creative and interpretive mind.
What the hell does that mean?
So it's like these
English.
It's these guys that go on. Look up like Darren Brown or Lior Suchard, and you'll see what it's all about. Basically, he's able to look and read people to the point where he can tell you like your PIN number.
Really?
Yeah. And there's actually a really funny one with that Darren guy where he has Simon Pegg on, and he brings him in, and days before he said, write something down on this pad that you'd like for your birthday before you come here. So he brings Simon Pegg in, and he's like, okay, so a couple of days ago, I had you write down on a piece of paper. It's in an envelope with you. I couldn't have influenced that at all, you know? And
this
then
shit
he just
drives me crazy.
Then he talked to him for, 5 minutes, and he used all of his techniques on Simon Pegg. And at the end of it, he says, all right, what did you want for your birthday? And he's like, a BMX bike. And he's like, what color BMX bike? A red BMX bike. And he's like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. Look in that box behind you. And there's a red BMX bike in it.
Fuck off.
And so he said, you know what the other power of the mentalist is? It's to be able to make people think certain things. Look at the envelope. And he pulls the envelope out of his jacket.
Weird.
And it says leather jacket. He didn't even write red BMX bike on it.
Is David Blaine a mentalist?
Yeah, he does use principles of mentalism. Yes.
So are you a mentalist now?
No, but I'm researching it. I know the literature to get.
Go back to this thing. So the
Yeah.
guy was like, what I wanted for my birthday was a red BMX bike, and the dude had it in the box.
Yeah. So
But what's with the envelope thing?
So he had
I don't
written a leather jacket on this piece of paper and put it in the envelope and brought it with him.
Yeah.
So this mentalist convinced this guy through these tactics that what he wanted was a red BMX bike.
Yeah.
And he had no memory of writing a leather jacket.
That's fucked up.
No, man, that's okay. That's what?
That's fucked up.
So he showed how he did it. He, with all of his words, he was inserting things like, instead of saying buy, he was saying bike. And he had a reel-to-reel recorder in the background with 2 spinning reels on it the entire time.
That's
he had
crazy.
red positioned all around. He would say things like, normally people would ask for a really expensive car like a BM or an Xbox. He didn't say BMW. He said BM or an Xbox. So, and he's touching him every time he does these things. But Simon Pegg was just like, I think this man should be in jail. He went on a couple of other shows. This other guy's story, Lior Suchard, and he would do this thing. He would look at them and he would say, I'm going to count down from 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And doing that and getting the guests to count down, he was able to tell them their PIN numbers, man.
Okay, I saw a guy do this at my girlfriend's work Christmas party.
Yeah.
And man, I had to leave.
Because it's
Oh no, I didn't have to leave, but it shook me.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening? Everybody else was drunk and like they just didn't care, I guess. But I was like, man, I stopped drinking. I was like, nope.
From what I can gather, and again, I said I know what literature to get to study it. I don't know how into it I'll be. Like, you know, because you saw I was like looking into card tricks and all that stuff at like 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. But I think it's subtle influence.
Yeah, yeah.
And being able to read people's reactions to things. Like in every moment that you're interacting with people, you're giving off subtle cues, right? Mm-hmm. And these people are masters at reading them, you know?
Jeez. How do you get into that?
That's what I mean.
Like, what?
So now, let's see. We have drones, metal detecting,
mentalism, and just flat out scaring the shit out of people.
Yes,
like,
yes.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, you know, basically, this is what I think about when I'm bored at 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. And yeah.
So are you a mentalist now?
No. But when I am, I will definitely
influence you.
do something if you'll let me.
Man, I don't know about that.
Gus, would you let me?
Man, I would, because I'm very interested. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I love all this David Blaine shit, all of that stuff, man. Like, man, one of them blows me away. He goes up to this dude this is David Blaine. He goes up to this guy on the street, and he's like, "Yo, you know, this is like, I don't know, some backwoods neighborhood in New York City, probably." Yeah. He's like, "Yo, you got $5 on you?" And the guy's like, "Yo, man, I ain't got $5." He's like, I got a $1 bill. And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he takes the guy's $1 bill, makes the guy sign it, this and that. And then...
This and that? Just this and that?
And then he rips it up.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, balls it up, whatever, goes over, throws the fucking thing in a sewer.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Yo, man, where's my bill?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, reach in your pocket." Mm-hmm. And he pulls it out. And the bill is now a pack of matches.
Yeah.
Signed and shit.
Yeah.
Then he does this other thing in the same neighborhood. He's like, you know, because he knew, I guess, these people were poor and whatever. And the guy was like, "Yeah, you want to take that $1 and turn it into $100?" And the kid was like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh yeah, is this where he shakes the cup?
Yeah.
And money just keeps coming out of the cup?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like $100 bills.
Yeah.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's all sleight of hand, man. It's amazing.
Why would anybody want to learn how to do this?
That's incredible.
It's a skill. It's a skill like anything else.
It's very disturbing.
Or, okay, how about when he does the card trick, man, and he whips the cards at a window of a restaurant, and the card that you picked is now stuck to the inside of the fucking restaurant. What?
Yeah.
Chris, explain that.
I don't know.
Chris doesn't like this stuff.
I like Chris Angel.
Man, they're LARPers.
They're LARPers. What happened to Chris Angel? He was the greatest magician I'd ever seen.
And musician.
He has videos.
I believe he was an illusionist.
The illusionist, yes.
Okay, but we need to talk a little bit about his videos. People.
No, I'll post the videos to the
post the
page.
Chris Angel music video, please.
I shall.
And yeah.
Okay, did Chris Angel look a little bit like Garth Brooks as Chris Gaines? Or is that just me?
No.
He did. No, okay.
He did.
He had the Chris Gaines.
Oh yeah, he kind of did, I guess.
And in later episodes of Mind Freak, he had a bit of a, you know. Mind Freak!
He also had like a little Nikki Sixx thing going on.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Man, that was like a cross between David Copperfield,
anime hair,
and Motley Crue, and fucking Mortal Kombat. That's what it was.
Yeah. That was my favorite. Chris always has these amazing jokes, and that was my favorite scenario that he ever came up with, was when he asked me, "Todd, what would you do if you were sleeping rather peacefully, and just out of nowhere you hear Mortal Kombat,
and then your drone was floating over your house.
Finish him. Yeah.
We're at about an hour.
Yep. So yeah.
Hour on the nose.
So yeah, as always, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit like and subscribe, please. We are available on iTunes under Oddly Specific Podcast, as well as SoundCloud, Oddly Specific Podcast. And thank you for joining us.
And also you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. What's the address?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Sorry.
But if you're actually, just search us out on YouTube, Oddly Specific Podcast, because there are various other pages named Oddly Specific. So, yeah. All right, guys. Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. That was a good one.